trying to empower you all, to motivate you. And I think part of us motivating is motivating each other. So I wanted her to be acknowledged. You're welcome. Because we have to uplift each other. And what I want you to ask yourself right now is, are you following your dream? And before you can answer that question, you need to ask yourself, what is your dream? Did somebody tell you, this is a horrible idea, you're never going to make it? Did somebody tell you, that'll never work, you're not any good at it? Or did you just let life get in the way? Ever worked for a company? Guess what? You put your dreams on the back burner. If somebody wants you to do something that's not in your job description, you do it. You don't speak up. And we as women need to start speaking up. Speaking up does not make you unladylike. You can still have your tea and wear your pearls. And you can still make people clutch their pearls. But you've got to know what your dream is. And when people tell me, especially women, when they say, I didn't follow my dream. I'm not following my dream because I'm afraid I'm going to fail. I'm like, what the heck? We're women. Honestly, you know, they say that women hold up half the world. No, we hold up the entire world. I mean, we give birth to kings, queens, presidents, senators, representatives. We do that. And we need to start acknowledging the greatness that we are just by being women on this planet. And sometimes we forget about that. So, in celebration of ourselves, I want everyone here to give a round of applause, not to other people around you, but to yourself. I have a niece, and I am, her sister is like 27. She's 1 year old, so you know. My brother's like, well, we didn't know. I'm like, no, you knew. But I am trying to instill so much confidence in her. And it's funny, she just started walking. And I took so much joy. They sent the video to me, even though I told her, put off walking as long as possible, because then people are going to stop carrying you. But when she was walking and they filmed her, when she took like 4 steps, she started applauding her own victory. And I was trying to show the video for people to lose it in my phone. But you've got to applaud your own victories. Stop waiting for somebody else to applaud your own victories. When I worked at the prosecutor's office, I was wondering, how many women first chairs are there here? And so I said, hey, we're going to get together, we're going to have a sit down and group and find out why there are not a lot of women in leadership positions. So we sit down, they're like, nobody's ever done this before. I'm like, we should do it. I said, so, here's my question. Who's tooting your horn? They're like, huh? I'm like, who's congratulating you? Who's pushing you out in front and saying, hey, this is a great person? I said, you need to have a hype man. And if you don't have a hype man and you can't get one, you got to be your own hype man. But here's the problem. We've been taught that you're not supposed to promote yourself. You're not supposed to publicize your accomplishments. But guess what? If you don't, then guess what? Who will? And if you're not promoting your own accomplishments, then other people are going to think, anybody could have done that. Oh, that's not that hard. Look at this group. If she wasn't promoting this and you all didn't believe in it, would anybody even know about this? She would be couponing, doing everything. And people would be like, oh, well, there's nothing big about that because, you know, nobody's cheering it on. But now everybody is cheering it on and saying this is a great thing. Woo, yes. By the way, I'm coming to the weight loss thing. I got like 60 pounds, but you see how she came in and she promoted that? And now it seems like, hey, that's important. I want to get with that. Yoga. I want to get with the yoga. That's something that we don't do enough of. We do not take care of ourselves. Guess what? Some days, I know, you put in work at your job, then you come home, we love our children, we love our husbands if we have one, we love our boyfriends, we love our partners. But guess what? When you come home from that job, then you come home and there's another job. You may love that second job, but it's still a job. When are you finding your time to relax? And I know some of us with young children, you think your relaxing time is in the bubble bath, but then guess what? You get a knock on the door. Mom, I need to come in. When are you coming out? There's no food on the table. I want this, I want that. You've got to take some time to self-care. And the other thing I always tell people, if you're around somebody and they're trying to dim your light, you gotta cut that person loose. And a lot of times we as women, we don't want to cut anybody loose because then we're the bad person. But you got to cut them loose. The other thing.
Say that louder though.
Oh, you got to cut them loose. Even if they're on the cliff, cut them loose. They're on the ridge so they can't get across it. And we have to do that. But many times we don't want to do that because we want to save people. No, I got to save them. And one of the hardest lessons that people think is the easiest is accepting the things you can't change. And accepting that you're only responsible for what you do. Now, when you think about that statement, you think, oh yeah, I can do that. No, you can't. Because when you go to the grocery store, you're still thinking, well, you know, maybe if I did this, or maybe if I did that, that would help that person change. But you can't. All you can do is work on yourself. And guess what? If you let your light shine, the people who are attracted to you are people who are attracted to you because your light is shining, and they're going to be like, you glow, girl. Everybody in your circle should be helping you to glow. Everybody in your circle should be lifting up. And guess what? It's okay to break down because you get tired. As my grandmother used to say, even a mule gets tired. Let that mule sit under the shade and drink some water for a while. And my grandmother would always tell my mom, because my mom, to this day, she still wants to put everybody first. I'm like, Mom, we're all adults. I'm like, I'm in my 50s, my older brother's in his 60s. I'm like, if we don't have it now, we're not going to have it. I'm like, put yourself first. And so my mother would always work rotating shifts. And she would work sometimes 12, 14-hour days. That's why when people tell me, oh, 3 hours is too long. I'm like, my mom worked 14-hour days. What are you talking about? But my mom would always, my grandmother would always call my mom in Florida and say, she's not made out of steel. Are y'all trying to break her? This is not going to happen. So don't let anybody break you. And if you need a break, guess what? Take a break. The world is not going to fall apart if you take a break. And I got a great piece of advice from a guy one time. I was a new attorney, I'd say relatively new. I was like 1 year's out. Still have stars in my eyes, right? And so I was sitting second chair with this attorney on a capital murder case. And I said, hey, just let me know what you want to do because you're the first chair. You've done capital murders before. You want me to file motions? You want me to do this? No, we'll wait and do motions later. I'm like, okay, well, let me know. I'm here. And this was back in the day when you had pagers. But I was still calm. And so I'm walking, and then he starts shouting, Stephanie, those motions haven't been filed. And I said, calm down, flipper. I asked you if you wanted me to file those motions, and you said not now. And so then he said, well, can you file them now? And so there was another male attorney with him, which was Judge Joel Perez.
Oh, remember that name.
Yeah. And so I was about to explain, and I was going to say, well, I can't do it right now because I'm in trial with this. Joel's like, I'm like, what? He's like, tell him no and walk away. You're an attorney. You don't have to explain yourself. And that's what I always tell women and tell students in my class at UTSA. Guess what? No is a complete sentence. Because this is what I learned. When you don't say no, if somebody tells you, hey, can you come to this event today? And you say, well, I really can't because I have this thing across town and I can't fit it in my day. You know what they're going to do? They're going to fit it in your day for you. Well, you can come over at this time. So that's why no is a complete sentence. But we as women, when we say no, you know what we think? We think we're being rude. Stephanie, could you come wash the car? No. Well, the reason why I can't do it is because of this. No is a complete sentence. Just like yes is. They take that yes. So be comfortable saying no. Practice it in the mirror. The other thing that I do to start my day, and everybody should start their day with this, and if you start your day with this, it's going to go fabulous no matter what happens. And you have to believe it when you say it. When you get up in the morning and you're ready to go off to work or wherever you're going, look in your big beautiful mirror, and you know what you say? I love me some me. Whenever I look in the mirror, I'm like, ooh, I love Stephanie Boyd, and I walk out. People are like, do you really say that? I'm like, yeah. And if you say that and look at yourself in the mirror when you say that, you'll be like, yeah, I'm pretty fantastic. You gotta believe in yourself, and when you look in that mirror and say, I'm beautiful, you're beautiful. The other thing, people are always worried about, does this outfit make me look big? How am I looking in it? And Lucy knows, and a lot of my friends know, I don't buy my clothes, right? I just don't like shopping. So my mom buys everything and sends it to me. So my mom is like, hey, if you're not comfortable in that outfit and owning it, it's not going to look right. So she's like, whatever outfit you have on, own it. Walk in that room and own it. The other thing that I see women do, when you're invited to an event, I will always call my mom, right? I'm like, Mom, I don't know what to wear. She's like, is it after 5? Is it black tie? What is it? And it's a black tie event, and nobody else is in ball gowns and black ties. She's like, then they dress wrong. I can't tell you the number of events I've gone to where it's after 5. I come in by after 5. If my mom wouldn't have empowered me by saying, you're dressed appropriately, I'd have been like, you know, can I find something to cover myself up? So don't ever do that. You're beautiful. You're beautiful in your own skin. Own it. Own the fact that you're successful. If you're not following your dreams, find out what your dream is and start following it. Because at the end of the day, guess what? Time is going to pass whether you're having a horrible time or a good time. So you need to make sure that you're living your life the way you want to live it. In my courtroom, I always tell everybody, here are 2 things. I said, number 1, we're going to be kind to everybody. And in my courtroom, I deal with people charged with capital murder. I have inmates charged with murder, sexual abuse, all of that. I said, we're going to treat everybody with respect. We're going to treat everybody as a human being. And sometimes people get tested. I said, you will put a smile on your face and do an Oscar-worthy performance, and on the inside, you get hated to death. I said, but if we treat everybody with kindness, the level will stay right here. And I always tell people, put some patience in your pocket and take it out as needed. Because things go wrong. Like you think you're going to be somewhere at a certain time and you can't be there. Where am I on time? Ooh, 6 minutes? Oh, I got 6 minutes. Okay. I say always put patience in your pocket. I don't think I have a lot of patience, right? But my mom says, no, Stephanie, you have a lot of patience. The way you talk to people on the phone, she's like, I would have been snapped. But I'm a firm believer that God always puts you in positions where He's trying to fix you with something. So I'm like, oh my gosh, when I'm standing in line and there's somebody with 32 items and the 15, I want to say, excuse me, it's 15 item limit. But I don't say anything. I'll just stand there and I'll be like, thank you, God, for helping with my patience. So you have to be kind, be patient, because you never know what anybody's going through. Now, let me tell you how to publicize yourself, because that's a big thing you have to do for your business. Does everybody have their cell phone? Yes. Take out your cell phone.
Oh, take it out. Mine's out.
What? You're traveling without your cell phone?
It's charging.
See, she didn't learn. She should have just said, no, I don't. No, complete sentence.
No.
There you go. See, and the world didn't fall apart. So, go to YouTube. Raise your hand when you get to YouTube. Awesome. All right. Type in Judge Stephanie Boyd. B as in boy, O-Y-D. Let me know when you're there. Awesome. That's me in the red dress that my mom bought. So, hit like and subscribe. See? And the good thing about that is you will get a chance to see what happens in court every day. These seats the seat that I'm in, the seat that Lucy's in, these are elected positions. And I think that education for us is key. I think education for the public is key. and I think that there should be transparency at the courthouse. So you can see what happens in my court every day. Although I will tell you this, I gave everybody these last 3 days off so they can enjoy Fiesta. I always give them time off for Fiesta, Christmas, and when there's a holiday so they can spend it with their children.
I should have been your court coordinator.
Oh yeah, hey, there you go.
I was a junior county court today.
Oh, awesome. So everyone, give yourself a round of applause. And I want you to turn to the person next to you, look them in the eye.
Look me in the eye, baby.
Yep. And I want you to tell them you're beautiful. And you're enough.